Hello, I'm Ruben Bressler, and welcome back to the sideboard. I am joined by 10K champion Adam Prosak. Adam,
how you doing?
Thank you for joining me. Now, you're tired of the Thragtusk metagame. So
not really.
Oh, okay. Well, you're not playing any Thragtusk.
No, I'm not.
So if you're tired of the Thragtusk metagame at home, you've brought basically a throwback. It looks a lot like Delver did, with sort of Delverless Delver.
Right.
So take me through what you've put together for this tournament.
Right, so basically I have a blue-white Drago deck. Basically, I thought counterspells in this Thragtusk metagame, I thought counterspells, even though the counterspells themselves are not very good, counterspells as a whole are very, very good, even if they're not mana leak.
Sure, being able to take down Thragtusk. Most people are trying to go over the top of Thragtusk with either Angel of Serenity or Unburial Rites or some other strategy and countering all of those spells, even if the counterspells themselves aren't great.
Right. They get the job done.
Sure.
When people are trying to play super expensive cards.
Now, your counterspell suite is varied, which is what I like in my counterspells. Yes. I like having different types.
I've actually played a ton of different numbers. At one point, like right now I have 2 Essence Scatter, 2 Syncopate, 2 Dissipate, and a Rewind in the main deck. I also have a Negate and the second Rewind in the sideboard. So I have 7 plus 2 in the sideboard.
So they can't really play around anything. So
I've had as few as like 5 counterspells. I've had as many as like 10. I've had like upwards of 4 Essence Scatters. I call them Remove Souls because my Essence Scatters actually say Remove Soul on them.
That's right. You've crossed out the name.
Yeah.
We're throwing it back.
Yeah. But so once you want to play a bunch of counterspells, you can't really tap mana on your turn.
Sure.
So that means no Planeswalkers, no Supreme Verdicts in the main at least. The only cards that I play during my main phase all the time. The only cards I have to play during my main phase are 4 Augur Bolas and 2 Runechanter's Pikes.
So you've got a ton of spells, so the Runechanter's Pikes are very good. You only have 12 creatures. Is the creature count enough for you to be able to support the Moorland Haunts, for example?
Basically, there's enough creatures in the deck to get the job done. There's plenty of card drawing. I have Thought Scour, Think Twice. I have a Miser Sphinx's Revelation. I forget who mentioned it, but I actually got that from a stream viewer. He's like, hey, have you tried a Sphinx's Revelation? I'm like, no, I've not, and it's been awesome.
Excellent.
Like, I would play 2 Sphinx's Revelation before I would play 0.
Now, this is another interesting thing. You can see Adam play, very similar to Cedric Phillips and Michael Jacob. You can see Adam playing the decks that he takes to actual tournaments. You're not going to hide a lot of technology.
No.
So you can follow, what's your stream?
A Prosak, my name.
A Prosak, so you can follow him. Another thing I wanted to mention was 4 Unsummon.
Yeah.
Which was not a card that got any play at all before Vapor Snag. And then Vapor Snag happened, and everyone was like, man, 1 life is awesome.
Yeah.
But even without the life, it's still very good.
It's mixed. Yeah. It's kind of my pet card is Saving Grasp.
Sure.
I unsummon my own creatures just as often, but it's nice to have versatile cards.
So it's actually better than Vapor Snag in a lot of situations.
Yes. I like versatile cards. I probably target my guys as much as their guys. All of my creatures have comes into play abilities. In addition to the Augurs, I have 4 Restoration Angels, 4 Snapcaster Mages. But yeah, Unsummon with a Snapcaster Mage and a bunch of mana becomes any instant in your graveyard.
Sure. So you get to rebuy your Sphinx's Revelation, for example.
Every once in a while.
Every once in a while, when you want to get real greedy. Now, moving to the sideboard, you've sort of got what looks like a shift in what the deck is trying to do.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, almost all of the cards that cost mana during my main phase are in the sideboard.
Right. So you got,
because sometimes Cavern of Souls is a very legal standard Magic card.
Sure.
And it's not easy.
People are realizing that you can name Beast with that card now.
Yes.
So when the Remove Souls and Syncopates don't get the job done, you can bring in Detention Spheres, Supreme Verdicts. Are those mostly Thragtusk answers? Or
no, actually, I kind of stick with the deck. I try and counter everything but what they name with Cavern. One thing that's nice about a lot of the decks is the powerful creatures have different creature types.
Sure.
So if they draw 3 Thragtusk in their Caverns, I'm probably dead.
Right. If they name Angel, Beast, and...
If they have 4 different Caverns, probably dead too.
Well,
but I can handle like 1 to 2 resolved, like really good cards.
So what are the Detention Spheres and Supreme Verdicts mostly there?
Okay, so the Detention Spheres, I bring in probably the least amount of any card on my sideboard. Lingering Souls is fantastic against this deck. There's no 2 ways about it. Like, Lingering Souls is definitely...
So this is removing 1/1 spirits most of the time? Not Planeswalkers?
No, Planeswalkers I can attack or counter with regularity. I don't like if they play a Jace -2 it and I detention sphere, that's a lose for me.
Sure.
So I don't like it. A lot of what's nice is a lot of the Lingering Souls decks. For example, Brian wins Junk Walker's deck has Lingering Souls, but also has the Planeswalker, so I can stop that from getting out of control.
Sure.
Like that match was pretty tough.
Sure. Now you've also got Geist of St. Traft in the sideboard, and you were telling me that you're not bringing these in to be a Geist deck. You're bringing these in to just be a Phantasmal image, basically.
Yes.
You're
it is the worst
other
Phantasmal
decks.
image I've ever seen.
Sure, but that is just a way to legend rule away other guys.
In fact, I wrote an article for on the main page. I'm playing 72 of the 75. The only switch I had Fettergeist instead of Geist of St. Traft. Basically, Fettergeist was another creature stopper.
Yeah.
But I figured I was siding too much in the aggressive matchups, and I just needed a much better answer to opposing Geist of St. Traft.
The last card I want to point out in your sideboard is the one of Erase.
Yeah.
That's just a good way to get rid of problem enchantments like Intangible Virtue. Or
Yeah, it's when it's super good, it's very fringe. Like Intangible Virtue is very much a fringe deck.
Right.
Detention Sphere, sometimes can be an issue. In my experience, having against a deck with a lot of Oblivion Rings or Detention Spheres, one Erase is always a reasonable number to draw.
And with Snapcaster Mage and all your cantrips, you're able to get at least one copy out of it. A lot of the time, maybe two.
Yeah, and the other thing is if they're a deck that if I don't draw it, oh well, I'll just But it's a nice card to have.
Yeah.
The first one's always good. The second one's probably pretty bad.
Yeah, and sometimes you're going to be able to hit a Rancor or other problem enchantments.
Yeah, it's also good in the zombie matchup. Strangely enough, the Crippling Blight.
Taking out Crippling Blight mid-combat is very good as well. And there's also an Omniscience deck around the room. I'm sure taking out Omniscience with Erase
Oh my
would be
God.
pretty much the dream scenario. So,
That'd
Adam,
be unbelievable.
you're undefeated so far.
2-0, yes.
Would you change anything about this deck?
So far, I've been very happy with it. I wouldn't mind a second Sphinx's Revelation. Basically, this is what I had tested, and this is what I was happy with. So I didn't want to go making changes without, testing it first.
Sure.
So I know this is good. There's certain things I would like for example, Rewind is fantastic.
Yeah. Being able to rewind, untap, and then play an Angel at end of
Or
turn.
even Rewind and Think Twice.
Sure.
Flashback Think Twice. That's totally okay with
reasonable,
me.
yeah. Well, this looks like a ton of fun. People can pay attention to see how you're developing the deck more on your stream, twitch.tv/Adam Prosak.
A Prosak, not
A Prosak, sorry.
Just one.
Right, just one.
Just a Prosak.
Prosak.
Yeah.
All right, Adam, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.